Hi, I'm Dr. Dave Stoop. I'm one of the co-hosts on the radio, and I wanted to talk to you about a question that comes up quite often, and that is, what do we do if we're married to a non-Christian? Well, the simple answer is in 1 Corinthians, where if the non-Christian wants to leave, you let him leave, but that's not really the desired outcome. The desired outcome is to still build a strong marriage. I had a secretary years ago when I was in the publishing business who was married to a pastor, and the pastor was unfaithful to her, and it led to a divorce. And gradually over time, as she recovered from the trauma of the divorce, she met somebody else and married him, and that's when I met her. And she was working for me, and we would talk about the fact that she was unequally yoked. And she was happy to be unequally yoked because she had a husband who respected her, whereas the equally yoked situation led to chaos and the death of the marriage. I asked her, what is it that makes the difference in terms of what goes on with you and your husband today? She said, well, he respects my faith, and he encourages me in my faith, even though he himself has a different approach to faith. And the fact that he respected what I believe and what I practice and supports me in it, would even go with me sometimes to church, but had no interest in developing a like faith, gave an openness to what was going on in the relationship. One of the interesting things that Peter talks about is what to do as a wife married to somebody that is not a believer. And I think Peter's injunction applies more to the wife in that he says you win him with your silence. You don't nag him, you don't harass him, you don't, that's the way it's experienced. It's not the way it's meant in harassing. You don't pressure him to make a commitment to following Jesus. You win him by your silence. How do you do that? You do that by the way you yourself live according to what it is to follow Jesus and to be loving, to be open and accepting of the person you're married to. And in doing that, you create an atmosphere that allows the other person to be supportive and to be understanding and to give you the freedom to worship the way that you need and want to worship. I remember the old days when people didn't follow that, and they had great prayer meetings for their unsaved husbands. They talked to their husbands about faith, and they did everything that Peter said not to do, and all they did was set up the resistance to not being interested in anything that the wife was saying. So Peter is giving wise instruction. You win him by your silence, which means you've got to live a life that is winsome, that represents the love of the Lord in its fullest glory and fullest bloom, and you trust God for the outcome. So if you're married to a non-believer, those are the things that are going to make it work. If that's missing, then find some way to create that kind of an environment together. And if that doesn't work, then the other thing that Paul says is if they decide to leave and they don't want to be there, you're free to let them go. If you have any questions on this, you can call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and talk to someone directly about what this means in reference to you yourself.